So I had a little bit of an epiphany last night, and I kind of want to share it with you, even though I already texted you about it, because I want to kind of talk this through because I would like some feedback from our illustrious audience on this question, and it's in regard to the direction I see myself going in with all of this stuff. Now, full disclosure, I may have been stoned when I had this epiphany, so I don't which is usually like the best time to have epiphanies, I find. But I was thinking about it because I'm doing this thing on Subscribestar where if I get up to like 2,000 a month in monthly donations, I'm going to launch a podcast. Because everyone told me, Karlyn, you should launch a podcast. And I was like, well, that's like a lot of work and I need to be able to justify it and rationalize it somehow. But I actually am getting like up there. Like we're more than 25% of the way there. Like it's up to like $600 a month, I think now, something like that. So the other day I was like, oh, I have to start thinking about what this podcast should be because they're going to get there eventually. And so I was thinking and I was like, I don't really want to do one of those podcasts where it's just about getting like the voice of the minute or whatever, or like celebrities or like well-known people or any of that stuff, because it really just doesn't interest me at all. If you want to do like listen to an interview with like someone who's well-known, they've probably done a shit ton of other interviews. So just go listen to one of them. It wasn't interesting to me at all. But what does interest me, oh, hi, Victor. Hi, apparently my dog says my dog wants to know if he can be on Super Chat. Well, Victor, you're going to have to figure that out yourself. But I was thinking like what I really do like is I like listening to stories from people who have kind of just like an interesting perspective on things, or stories that come from like a misunderstood place. And when I landed on the idea of like misunderstood voices, I was like, holy crap, this has literally been a theme my entire life, of being like the literal black sheep in my family and always feeling as though people didn't get me. And then even getting into the work I do in organizations, I've always been like the advocate for the underdog, or the advocate for the person that I didn't think like people were understanding, or things like that. And even the Trump rally stuff, it was all because I wanted to understand these people who I think are generally pretty misunderstood. And it was also thinking about how the way history gets written and who writes it, and frankly being very fearful that the crazies on the left are going to be telling the story of history that is just completely distorted. And so I kind of landed on this idea of wanting to elevate misunderstood voices, and that being an idea for a podcast. What do you think about that? Joshua, are you there?
Oh, what do I think about that? I thought you were
Yeah.
asking
No, what
asking
do
the
you
world.
think? Well, I guess like
I think it's
people
a
in the
great
chat can chime in
idea.
too.
I think it's a really
Yeah.
great idea. I think that it's really important, and I think that in doing that, you'll be able to create balance, because right now things are incredibly lopsided, as you know. Like you go online, everything is so imbalanced to the left that history is definitely going to be colored in a certain way, and that's what history is, right? His story. It's a lot of it is fiction. I mean, I don't want to get too controversial since the title of our show is nothing remotely controversial, but there's a lot of fiction that has been written that we are teaching people that we've all been taught too, that is not true. So it's going to be important for there to be balance. So I think that's great that you're doing that.
Yeah. So that's my idea at the moment, guys. That's what I'm thinking about. And so definitely let me know if you have any feedback on it, or any voices you think that should be included in this. I mean, I'm absolutely going to be reaching out to all of you that have watched the channel, supported me through all of this, for your input and feedback. And if you think you're a misunderstood voice, man, hey, maybe we'll have a conversation.